folks and soaks. How are we doing on this beautiful Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, the year of our Lord 2021. It's our favorite time. The years of our Lord. Kidding, we all know I don't care about religion. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of How You Been with Brett the Mott. Fiddling with the levels here. I, of course, am your fearless leader, Brett the Mott. Here with another great episode, folks. Had a big freaking week, okay? And anybody who tuned in last week knows exactly why. Last week I had my friend Charlotte on, and let me tell you, folks, you gotta be able to read the whole name there. Let me tell you something. Charlotte gave me $1 million idea. If you've been following the last few weeks, I've been trying to get this new thing, Stuff for Students, off the ground. It's been a slog, to say the least. Many rejections. Nobody seems to want to take stuff off my hands, so I'm left with a yard full of stuff and no students to give the stuff to. Because as you all know, Stuff for Students is like Toys for Tots, but it's stuff for students exclusively. It's both broader on one side, more specific on the other. Which I thought it sounded good. But unfortunately, no one has wanted to invest until last week. When my good friend Charlotte, who made all her money in the tin industry, we got to start doing something about this part of my hair. My friend Charlotte, who made her fortune in the tin industry, came in, swooped in, gave me $1 million idea. Brett, what if Stuff for Students is not some sort of money-making scheme that involves handing things from one person to another? What if it's an art exhibit? And folks, that's exactly what it is. Last Wednesday marked the grand opening of my show. Brett the Mott, the stuff is here. Very similar to Marina Abramovich's The Artist is Present exhibit. People pay, they take a ticket, they come in, they sit down in front of me in the middle of all my stuff. They look at me, they look at my stuff, they look at me, they look at all my stuff. They connect to themselves in a way they've never connected to themselves before, and then they take some stuff home with them. Doesn't matter how big, doesn't matter how small. If you leave, you ain't got to go home, but you got to take something out of my backyard. That's the saying of the whole show. And I'll tell you this, folks, it's been a rousing success. This town don't got what you would call an art scene, so people are itching for something to do. It's outdoors, safe, masks, COVID safe. So I've been having people coming out of my backyard all day, every day for the last week. And folks, I am raking in the cash. Absolutely raking in the cash. I see people talking about coyotes in the chat. Everybody needs to know, due to my pending court case, Coyote Man is retired. Okay? Coyote Man is retired for a couple weeks. Or permanently. We can't talk about Coyote Man. Because the cops, I know somebody in here's a narc, because the cops know about the show. And people been telling them that I've been bragging about Coyote Man and how good I am at being a superhero. Which, A, I don't think I have been doing. But B, don't narc on me. Come on. We're friends. But folks, I have been making so much money this last week, I don't even know what to do with it. As you all know, my sources of income for the past countless months have not been fruitful. You know, the dam has ran dry. The levee broke a long time ago and all the water went out of it. The hose the kink in the hose is permanent. The cash cow is all out of milk. Does this all make sense to you? I haven't been making a lot of money these days. So I've been getting used to this sort of austerity lifestyle. You know? Eating rice for dinner only. Half a sandwich for lunch, the other half for dinner. Spreading one meal out over 2 meals. That's not how we do it. That's not living, folks. But thank God this last week things have turned around. You're all probably wondering, Brett, what are you doing with all this money? And folks, the answers are very simple. New front door for the house. The hole that I dug for the pool that I never turned into a pool, let's just say there are concretes being poured. Will it be a pool? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. I'm also going to pay my therapist, Dudley St. Salmon. He will finally get the check for, I believe what I owe him is $12,000. Eventually, he will get that money. Also, I sent the kids a little something special in an envelope. Did I put it in a card? No, because there's no occasion. I sent them an envelope with $30 each in there. And I didn't put my name on it because I want them to be surprised. The next time I talk to them, I'm going to be like, hey, did you get any money recently? And they're going to say, oh, yeah, it was great. And I mean, I did that. You're happy about it, and I did that, so you now owe me some. And before you guys say you shouldn't be doing these schemes to sort of trick your kids into having a relationship with you, that's not what's going on. I'm buying their affection. That's what every dad does. And I don't care if there's somebody out there, there's dads out there who are saying, no, you just have a good relationship with your kids, they're going to love you. No, if you don't give your kids money, if you don't give them money so that they can buy baseball cards and gum and stuff that they like, they're going to hate you. That's it. They talk about love languages. The love language between a child and their father is gifts. 100%. Get your kids a baseball mitt. Get your kids a baseball bat. Give them money. Let them buy themselves a Twix. That's just the way it is, folks. And I don't care people coming in here saying it's otherwise. Kids need to be bought. It's the only way they'll love you. Give them a little $20 handshake. Because everybody knows when you go see your kids for the first time after months, you walk in and you say, put her there. And you give your kids a firm handshake. If they're over 13 years old, you give them a firm handshake. Because that is how we all should be greeting each other. Even today, people are scared of handshakes. Because they say, oh, but they said the germs are in the world now. We are aware of the germs. So what? Shake people's hands. But folks, I'm rolling in it. I'm really excited because it's been so long since I had a surplus. I feel almost crazy. I don't know what to do with all the money that I make. I'm only charging $5 a ticket, but I'm not kidding. I've had 50 people just today come and look at this exhibit. 50 people times $5. You do the math. Now multiply that by 5 days a week. I don't work weekends. 5 days, $5, 50 people, 555, add a zero. There we are. You know how much money that is. You're all good at math. You know. If somebody knows, post it in the thing for everybody else. For anybody who's math deficient. You can somebody post it in there, in the chat. Post the number. 5 days, $5, 50 people a day. $1,250. There it is. I knew that amount. I did not need it. Other people did. But folks, I think it's just about time for me to dip into the old mailbag. What do you say to that? This week's question comes from Trinka S. Trinka? Not sure how you say it, but I think that's it. Hey Brett, how you been? That's the name of the show. That's the way we start our emails. My son Caulk has been a huge fan of yours since he could listen to podcasts. He's turning 10 in a couple weeks and has been begging his dad and I, also big fans, to get him a power tool. This is a good kid. Get him started young, folks. Get him started young on the DeMott train. He's been asking for years now, so we decided to give in for the big 1-0. What power tool do you recommend for a 10-year-old as most fun and best for little noobs? Thanks, Trinka S. This is a great question. Because I'll tell you, let me walk you through DeMott's history with tools. The first tool that I ever got was a tape measure. A lot of people out there are like, is that really a tool? Of course it's a tool. Because what can you do with a tape measure? You can measure how tall you are. You can measure how high your bedroom door is. You can measure how big the ladder to get into the top bunk on your bunk beds are. You can see how far away from the TV you are. You can measure. You can do 100 things. You can do 100 things with a tape measure. So that's the first tool. That's the first tool I believe every child should get. A tape measure, because you can't hurt yourself, for one. A lot of people in the chat, you're posting dangerous tools as if I'm the kind of guy who would give a child something dangerous. Yes, I've left my child alone overnight at a stranger's party. But I'm not going to give my kid a sharp tool, a saw, a knife. In fact, I had a landlord in college, and this is a true story. I got home from class, I walked through the front door, and there's a baby sitting on the floor cutting through styrofoam with a big old knife. I look up, my landlord's in the kitchen fixing a stove. And then her child is sitting on a living room floor cutting through styrofoam. I don't know where the kid got the styrofoam. Cutting through the styrofoam with a big knife. And I'm talking a toddler. This kid could barely even hold up its own body weight. Its head was bobbing around, and it's sitting there poking into this styrofoam. And I look at my landlord. I'm flabbergasted. I don't even know how to start this conversation. A, I didn't know you were coming over here. B, look at your fucking child. This is dangerous, folks. I don't want a baby to stab itself in its fat little leg on my floor. And this, I really leaned into fat little leg. This was baby. Classic baby. Big foldy legs. It was crazy. So I'm not going to ever tell somebody to give their kid a tool unless the kid's old enough to control the tool. 13 years old is the first time you should ever get any sort of sharp tool. When you're 13, go for it. Give them anything you want. I think a jigsaw is a good first sharp tool. I think a nice solid hammer, a rubber mallet, if you're worried, also a good idea. But give them something. Wait till they're 13 to give them anything sharp. Give them a tape measure. You're set 10. He's turning 10. I think this is the perfect time to give him a tape measure and tell him to measure every inch of the house. Make a blueprint that is to scale of your house. It's a great project for a 10-year-old. It'll keep them occupied all summer long. And speaking of summer, folks, I don't even think I've talked to you yet about my guest. My guest, this is one of my oldest friends. We had one of those summer friendships. We both would go visit our grandparents who were neighbors in Indiana. And we'd hang out all summer out in the fields, the cornfields. And it was just one of those friendships that you look forward to. You're hoping that your friend is going to be there. because you have a much better time at your grandparents' house when you can just be outside with somebody who's your age and not a 96-year-old person who don't even move off the couch. No offense to my grandparents, but they were older than normal, and they didn't move. So there's that. But my friend Gianni Montauban is going to be on the show today, and I couldn't be more excited, folks. We haven't talked since the summer right before college, which was the last time we went to, we haven't seen each other, I should say, since the summer right before college, when we stopped going to our grandparents' house every summer. We did try to get together a while back, but it never panned out, which is upsetting. We really tried, but it didn't happen. So it's nice to finally get to catch up with my friend Gianni. So, folks, hang tight real quick. I'm going to jump the break and get Gianni on the line. We'll be back in just a second, so just hang tight for just a sec. I said just a sec so many times right there. I don't even know how many times that I just said that. Just a sec. All right, I'll be back in just a sec. Oh, yeah, folks, I'm back. The quickest break in history. I know you're timing it. You're always timing it. You clowns. You clowns are always trying to time my breaks. You're like, oh, is this going to be a short break or is this going to be a long break? Well, now we know, folks. It was a short break because I was so excited. So freaking excited to get my guests on the line because I have not talked to my friend Gianni in years. Not in person. We've tried. We've never made it happen. But finally, on How You Been, I was able to bring on my friend, Gianni Montauban. Gianni, what's up?
What's up, Big B?
Oh, it's
so good to see you, dude.
I can't tell you. Just seeing that smile on your face, it takes me back to the good old days, man. It's so good to see you.
Right, dude? It's the summer of 2002 all over again. It's like, where's the cord? Where's the cord?
It's beautiful. Oh man, I filled the audience in here. Let them know our grandparents lived next to each other, and now we ain't talked since then. But who cares? Because we did, and this is our MO kinda. We would go a whole year not seeing each other. We'd get together back in the summer, and then we'd be picking up right where we left off, almost like the conversation never stopped.
Exactly. It's literally, I feel like there was one summer where literally I asked you a question while you were leaving, and I didn't get an answer, and then you came back and you gave, the first thing you said to me was the answer to that question.
I know. And I was writing in my diary on the way home. I wrote down, okay, last thing Gianni said, he said, he asked, what's your favorite fast food hamburger? As I was riding away.
That's exactly it.
And I took the whole year thinking about this. I built it up. I was like, I gotta remember. I gotta know. First of all, I gotta figure out. I took that whole year. I tried them all. And then I came back June 1st. I pulled up into the driveway at my grandparents' house. I jumped over the fence, ran over to your grandparents' house, blop, 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 blop on the door. You opened it because you knew who'd be there. And
it's June 1st.
Yeah. And I said to you, best hamburger, hands down, is McDonald's Quarter Pounder with cheese.
There it is.
Which
so simple.
That's the thing. I felt bad about it at the time because I felt like, oh, this is the answer that everybody's going to say. But But who cares? It's the truth. Everybody knows quarter pounder with cheese is better than every other one.
And honestly, it meant the world to me that you took the time to get that answer, because I remember how confused and honestly a little bit hurt I was when I asked you a question and the first thing you did was turn around and walk away from me. And I remember just being like, what just happened? Why do you, or did I do something? Should I have not asked that? And then I remember I saw you said quarter pounder with cheese, and it was just like, it was like what's that little blue hedgehog's name?
Sonic.
What's the little blue hedgehog?
Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I think so. I think it's, yeah. And it was just like, damn, it's just like he ran through my brain and delivered the memory of the last time, and we just picked it right up.
We picked it right up, went back out in the field, started throwing corn at each other. We're classically, that was the pastime. We'd have big corn fights. Yeah.
Big corn for hours. It was just the bruises.
Yeah.
God, the bruises. I swear to God. Hold on. Can you wait? It's gonna take too long. I still have the scar. Still have the scar.
You're kidding me. Folks, let me tell you something, folks. If a piece of corn has been sitting down in the dirt on the field in the sun that's already been they've already harvested, and it's just a piece of corn sitting in the sun, and it's been sitting there for more than a week or two, do not throw that piece of corn at your friend, because let me tell you, it's hard and sharp. It's hard and sharp.
Those leaves, they get like, I mean, you cut, it was like, God damn. I swear to God, the blood.
Hey, and I apologize then. I'll apologize now. I did not know my own strength. I threw a heater at you like I was Roger Clemens or something, and I'll tell you, I had no idea.
I remember you started playing baseball after that. I remember we were sitting in the hospital, and they were sewing up my back, and you were like, I think I got an arm. And I remember I looked at you and I said, damn right you do. And you play, and I swear, you said you were gonna try out for the team when you went back that summer. I did.
I don't think I've talked about this with my audience ever before, but I did play one full season with the Chicago Cubs. A very similar story to the movie Rookie of the Year, except instead of breaking my arm, I got into a corn fight with my friend Gianni Montauban, and I threw the corn so hard that I realized I could be a major leagues pitcher.
Yes, you did.
It's wild.
God, man, it's good to see you.
It's great. It's so good, man. I asked this to all my guests. The first thing I like that we obviously had to catch up a little bit before I could get the question out, but I asked this to all my guests in the years that we ain't seen each other. How you been?
Oh, dude, it's been crazy. My life has been crazy.
No kidding.
It's so wild, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude. So, like, I don't even know where to start. Shit. I guess, do you know, okay. So my grandparents, they're not my grandparents.
Right.
That's like the first thing, right? And you know how I live with them, right? And and I would always be like, my parents left me with them and they don't like to talk about my parents and stuff. And so I was like honestly, like 2 years after, so I went to IU, Champaign-Urbana, and like 2 years into that, great school, honestly. And 2 years into that, a dude, I'm home for the summer, you were off of college, a dude in a black suit shows up at my door and he's like, you have to come with me. And I'm like, who are you? What are you doing? Where am I going? And he's like, you don't get to know. And he tackled me to the ground. And then like 6 other dudes in suits came in and like started beating the shit out of me and they took me in a van and my grandparents were screaming. It was crazy. Oh, sorry. They're not my grandparents. Their names are Eliza and Randolph. Anyway, okay. So I get taken away from my home. I they inject me with something. I'm out for like 36 hours. I wake up in this place that I'd never heard of before. It's called, have you ever heard of the Free State of Montauban?
I have not.
So there's a country, right? It's like right between Georgia and Turkey. It's like really small.
Okay.
It's not even like a true like recognized nation.
Right. It's like
but
territory.
It's called the Free State of Montauban.
Right.
Exactly. Yes, it's a territory. And I am the Prince of Montauban. Yeah, I'm the Prince of Montauban.
You're royalty?
I'm fucking royalty, dude.
I was best summer friends with royal, and you're
fucking crazy, dude.
That's insane. And so I mean, that's a huge change because when you were younger, I mean, it was middle Indiana, farm country. You know, meager means. We didn't have a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I was just a classic guy. I liked working on cars. I loved apple pie, you know, country guy shit. And now I'm the prince of a territory. These people, literally, there are people out like, so like this is like my section of a castle. I live in a castle.
Wait, hang on. You're in Montauban now.
Yes, this is my like place in Montauban. They let me put a bunch of like American shit in here so that I felt like more comfortable. But yeah, this is so I'm in like a small section of the castle of like for the like where the prince and princess of Montauban live. And so yeah, this is like my little section of it. But yeah, right out there is like there's a small village that like I'm like in charge of. And like everyone there is there, they worship me and they think I'm like some kind of god figure. It's fucking crazy, dude. I'm having a hard time even processing.
Hey, and you are the one who went through it. Yeah.
Exactly, dude.
I mean, what? And did you ever get an answer on why these guys in black suits kidnapped you and beat you up for some reason?
Yes, 100%. Sorry. So my parents, right? So my dad was the former Prince of Montauban, right?
Okay.
And he fell in love with a woman he met in Turkey. But their love, because she's not of Montaubanian descent, he was considered a race traitor, and they had to run and escape Montauban. Otherwise, they would both be put to death. So, or it's more specifically, she would be put to death. I think he would just be punished. But so they ran and left me with two Montaubanian expats. So my grandparents weren't my grandparents. They were two people who used to live in Montauban.
Okay. Your grandparents weren't your real grandparents, but they were from Montauban.
They were from Montauban, and they were like excited to take in the living prince and all of this stuff, and they had left for similar reasons because there's a lot of problems here.
Yeah. That's insane.
So exactly. Yeah, it's insane, dude.
But like,
it's so
you seem to be doing good. Like, you say there's a lot of problems there. I mean, like...
Oh, a ton. like so many.
Wait, is this like a war situation? Is this like it's poverty, famine? What kinds of problems are we dealing with?
Famine.
Oh,
it's kind of like one of those things. There's like a general who like runs the military here, and he's kind of in charge, and I'm more like a figurehead. And like we tax the people here pretty heavily, and they don't have much food and stuff, and we're kind of very much in control of when and what they eat. And I'm just supposed to kind of like go along with it, and if I say anything, I get hurt. So I stopped saying stuff like a while ago.
Oh man. Jeez.
Yeah, so now I just kind of hang out and play Nintendo Switch. Are you on Animal Crossing? We should totally link.
I'm not, but I've heard about it.
Okay.
And I would love to do an island on there. It feels like that game is like, it's definitely in the zeitgeist right now. It's definitely worth jumping in right now because it feels like everybody's still playing it now. So I've been thinking about trying it out. And if I do, I'll totally jump on if you want to do however you do a lot of island jumping or whatever. I'd be down to jump in there with you.
Yeah, 100%. I can even send you bells if you need them.
Oh, wow.
Come visit. It'd just be nice to like, have like it'd be nice to do something with a friend.
Yeah.
So like, let me know.
Do you go outside very often?
No, not really. People, it's kind of weird when I go outside because if I go outside the castle, everyone wants to touch me because they think that I'm some kind of weird god figure that grants them powers and takes care of them and all this other shit.
Right.
So it's like it's not. I don't really get to have like human interactions. It's a lot of like, Great Prince of Montauban. Like I'm sick. I'm cancerous, I'm diseased, please cure me by touching me. And I'm like, I don't wanna, and I don't think that's how it works.
But you say you don't wanna? You specifically say you don't wanna?
I don't. It's not, it doesn't work. I can't.
I
don't want to lie.
I feel like you could win points. I would say, listen, I ain't no royal, okay? So I'm not one to give you advice, Johnny. But I think it might be a good idea in the future if somebody says, help me, cure me of my cancer, don't say, I don't want to. That's probably not the good answer.
I don't. I'm telling you, Big B, I'm talking to you as a friend. Like, I don't really get to talk to many people, right?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to touch these people. Like, I don't want to. I don't. You don't, because if I touch one of them, they're all going to want to get touched. They're all going to want to get cured. And they're all going to want the prosperity that flows from my fingertips as the Prince of Montauban. It's like, I tried that. I tried that in the beginning. I tried touching people when they asked me to, and it would just get overwhelming. And my anxiety would flare up, and I'd be like, I want to go home. And then one guy would then my security was there beating the shit out of people. And I was like, I don't want this to happen.
Why are they beating the shit out of people? That feels like another thing you could control.
Touch me. They can't touch me because they can't touch me unless I allow them to because I am the Prince of Montauban.
Right.
So it's all of these fucking rules, dude. I swear to God. They shot somebody yesterday because he spilled soup on me. There's so much going on here, dude. There's so many layers and traditions and all of this shit that I guess I was supposed to learn like growing up here.
Yeah.
But because I grew up in Indiana, it's like stuff I have to like learn on the fly.
Jesus Christ, man. I'm insanely interested. But I also feel terrible for you. There's so many competing emotions. I'm sure you feel the same way. Because I mean, when we were kids, you were specifically the kind of kid who was like, "Don't even look at me. Just like let me live my life. Let me do what I want to do." Yeah. You were like, you told me once, "I'm the only person that you want to be around."
Yeah, I don't have many other friends. All right, I chose you. You know,
yeah.
I was like, this guy's a real one. And all of these other jokers, all these other fucking Husker fucks, they can take a fucking hike, right? They can get on their fucking tractors and roll fucking 2 towns over.
I actually forgot how heated you would get whenever we talked about anybody in this town.
Yes.
You used to say, I've heard a lot of mean things in my life, usually directed at me, but still to this day,
yes.
Some of the meanest things that I have heard were coming from your mouth, shouted at somebody driving a truck down the street in front of your grandparents' house.
100%. 100%. You know me. I'd chase them down. I'd chase them down so they heard just a few more of those words.
Yeah.
I'd say, hey, don't you drive away from me. And then I run and just keep cussing. Keep cussing.
There was that one summer that you said you like cars and stuff. I remember you were fixing up that go-kart. Yeah. You were fixing up a go-kart. And I remember this one time, an unassuming family of 4 in a sedan goes by, does not even look at us. You say Big B, which you're the only person who calls me Big B, and still to this day it gives me a warm sensation in my heart. You say, Big B, give me a sec. And I'm like, I'm not going to give you a sec. I want to see what's going on. So you jump in this go-kart that you just souped up to go 4 or 5 times faster than their Toyota Corolla. And I'm hanging onto the back of it, standing up because you only had one seat in there. And we're going down the side of this. And the roads in Indiana don't turn very much. So we're going straight down this, and you're on the shoulder. You're on the shoulder going about 100 miles an hour to catch up to this sedan. And when we get next to it, you slow down, you match speed, and we're going side by side. Family of 4, mom, dad, 2 kids, boy, girl. the exact 50-50 of a family from decades ago.
Yep.
And we're going down there. We're just going down the street, and you're screaming. I couldn't even hear the words you were screaming because that go-kart was so loud.
Yeah.
And I could see on your face.
On the back next to the engine. It's just,
yeah, I could see it on your face. Veins popping out of your forehead. The father who was in the passenger seat is just like crying. The children are covering their eyes. I'm like, holy shit! I don't know what this kid's saying to these people, but man, he's laying in.
I had a temper. And God, did I love to lay into people. I remember I tried to ram those people. I remember at the end I started jamming the go-kart.
And I kept saying
and screaming.
I kept saying, Johnny, no, I don't have a seatbelt or a seat.
Yes. Yeah. And I was saying, hey, get your fairy ass out here. Why don't you have your bitch wife pull over the car, get your fairy ass out here.
These are the worst words.
In front of your...
These are the worst words I've ever heard somebody say. I was absolutely blown away. You were such an unassuming kid. Yeah. Turns out you were a monster. And in my brain, I think maybe I never put 2 and 2 together that you were actually mean and you were only nice to me. But you seem like a nice guy, just in conversation.
Well, and I think that's, yes, exactly. And I think that's like kind of I feel like that's so much of like, I guess now, like looking back on it, I was like, oh, I guess I am like, it does feel like I'm a royal and that like I know how to act with the people who it's important to act. Like for me, it's like for you, how it is, how I want to act with my fake grandparents. But like when it comes to like commoners and like normal people and everyone else, yeah, I mean, I do think, I think it's always been in me that I've just been like kind of a step above, that those people are kind of, trash people who are beneath me and everyone. And then there's the level of people that I actually can articulate and who I believe are capable of understanding kind of the ideas that are spooling around in the yarn weaver that is my brain.
And I'm one of the good ones?
Yeah, Big B. Yeah, you always will be. Because, I'll never forget, you asked me a question at first summer when we were hanging out. You asked me a question that I will never forget. Because I remember we've been eyeing each other for a couple of days.
Yeah, playing in our respective yards, not really, exactly. Throwing corn, but not at each other.
Not at each other. We would just, I remember it was alongside it. There's a lot of sussing out.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a summer where you came over and you looked me, through the fence. Remember, you looked through the fence, you looked at me, and you said, hey, you, what's your problem? And, I never even thought that I had a problem. But there's just something, I felt seen in that moment.
Can I tell you why I want to tell you why I asked you that question, because I just remembered why. I remember you were throwing corn, dried up old corn at a archery target.
Yep.
And you kept missing.
Yes.
You kept missing.
Yes.
And then at a certain point, you walked up and grabbed one of the cobs and held it like a steak, like a vampire steak. And you jumped you jumped on the target like Stone Cold Steve Austin does, where you just jumped up and landed on it, and then you started just stabbing it. And I'm like, oh, shit, this kid's intense. And I originally should say, hey, what's your problem? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And then when you came and talked to me, I was like, oh, he's just having fun. I thought because you turned it off. Like it was like a switch flipped, and you went from being like ravenous to being just like a regular kid.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm seeing now that you've kind of always been able to do that, and you're still doing it.
It's funny. It's so funny the way our pasts catch up with us. And that's still me. I just happen to be the ruler of a small territory now. But that ravenous person is still in me, and I think I'm still out here wishing one of these people would ask me what's my problem, kind of snap me out of it. Because right now I'm just kind of going through the motions, letting this weird general commit war crimes. I got arranged married.
No kidding. Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't even live in the same. We live in different parts of the castle.
Oh, okay.
But I have a wife.
Is it? It's just like a sort of social thing. It's like you have to be married because you're the prince, so you have to have a princess.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they presented a bunch of villagers in front of me and made me choose. It was really fucking weird, dude. I hated it. But I don't know. I'm so worried they're gonna do stuff to me if I don't do what they say. So I just kind of went with it.
No, I mean, listen. I think the arranged marriage thing. I mean, a lot of people could say that I also was arranged marriage, but the arrangement was circumstances. It's the only girl who ever talked to me. I was for a while, out of college. I don't think you never met BB, but I think you did know of her. I talked to you about her when we were on the summers because we were dating for a few of those later summers. We ended up getting married.
Oh, BB.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
With the eye?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Does a lot of makeup on her eyes and
yes, exactly.
And it has
the cat thing.
Has like real intense eyeliner. Yeah. She and I got married. You used to call her Big BB. That was the funny joke between us.
Yeah. I wanted to say it to her in person one summer, but I never got the chance.
Yeah. But no, we got married and I loved her.
Yeah.
And she seemed to love me, but over time you realize that maybe your two ships were in two different oceans, if you know what I mean. And a couple months ago we officially got divorced. And I've been on my own for a while and just sort of living the bachelor lifestyle, Yeah. So I can understand how you get married because it's the only person. For me, she was the only person who ever looked at me nice.
Yeah.
Really. That I at least was perceptive of. There were other people. We found out that there were other people who maybe had a thing for me or whatever, but I wasn't aware of it at the time. And so so we got married, and it was just like one of those things where it's like, I guess we are going to get married. And then we spent, our lives together, and then you realize, we got married just because society was telling us to. So I guess I could sympathize with the arranged marriage thing a little bit.
We're in very similar situations. I feel like I see a lot of my kind of choosing between villagers who have presented me and you kind of just falling in with the first person that kind of picked you. It's almost like we're opposite sides.
Right.
Big BB chose you and I chose Svetlana Ariana Descontessa. But yeah, man. Oh, hey, do you want to see something cool?
Of course.
So we have like artifacts and shit here. That's like stuff we have here, right? Yeah.
I can't wait.
So this is like this is like the official sword.
Holy shit!
This is the official sword of Montauban. Isn't this shit cool, dude? Dude, check this shit out. I never get to play with this shit, dude.
That is the biggest sword I have ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, dude, this is the official sword of Montauban. Yeah, dude, this has been passed down for 1,000 years. This thing is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that's got to weigh 30 pounds.
Oh, easily, dude. Yeah. This is a long cry from those corn stalks we used to fight each other with.
Dude.
December. But
I love I'll say this. I love the joy in your voice. It's I'll be honest with you, it's a little disconcerting to have that much joy in your voice while swinging around a 30-pound gigantic sword. It makes me it makes me a little scared.
Well, the truth is, dude, I never get to show this shit off to people, dude.
Right.
There's a bunch of dumb shit here that, I don't know, that I have to wear and, for ceremonies and bullshit.
Right.
And like I never like everyone here takes it so fucking seriously. But like you, Big B, I can like show you this shit. We can like laugh and remember when we used to fight each other with corn stalks. And now, like, if you were here, we would be fighting with like 30-pound fucking broadswords.
Is there two? I feel like I would be outgunned or out-sworded if we got into a fight now.
Yeah, I'd have to give you like a smaller sword. We don't really have another big one. There's only this one. So you'd have to but I don't know, we could trade off.
I just love that you just casually walking around with that gigantic sword. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Man.
I mean, it's like this is the kind of, like, I don't know, dude. I'm a fucking prince of a fucking, I don't know. There's a bunch of dumb shit in here.
Yeah.
I can pull out, like the bones of my great-grandparents are, like, just, like, over there. There's, like, I have to, like, I sleep underneath, like, a bunch of, like collections of their bones and shit. So.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But they get mad when I
this is crazy. I did not expect this at all, because and granted I haven't talked to you in years, and we tried. I was telling everybody we did try to get together a couple years ago.
Yes, because I was in town.
Yeah,
I was going to the UN because we were accused of war crimes, and I was explaining that everything was chill.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you didn't tell me any of those specifics. You literally just said you called me and you were like, gonna be in town for a couple days.
Yeah.
Let's get together. Then the day came that you were supposed to be in town, and you said, you just sent me a text message that said, "Ugh, big meeting."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because things got pushed around because I thought I was going to have time to meet up with you, but then like Antonio, the head of the UN, called and was like, "We need to push things up now because this is really serious. Like, we believe that you're housing sarin gas and a bunch of shit." And so I had to go and like explain to them, like, that's not what we're doing. I actually think it is what we're doing, but I had to say that's not what we're doing.
Hey, you can be honest on the show. I told the chat earlier to not be narcs, and if anybody is here from the UN, get the fuck out of my stream because this is a no narc zone.
Sick.
Yeah.
Is that something you could just do? You straight up just kick UN officers out of like your Twitch and shit?
If you in the chat identify yourself as a UN officer, I will ban your ass. Permanent ban. Permanent ban for being a UN officer.
See,
or a cop.
This is why you're the only person I ever liked. See, it's shit like this, dude. You would put all of it on the fucking line. Because I could admit that my nation is trading sarin gas.
Well, here's the thing, Gianni. I'm gonna be honest with you. I maybe don't agree with the tactics, but I am not one to ever rag on somebody's racket. That's my like main saying here. You can do the weirdest shit, but I ain't gonna judge you. Because I'm a weird guy. I do weird stuff. There's stuff that I do that I think the UN would probably be like, oh yeah, death penalty. Because
word, like what?
Like I for a long time had just a hole in my yard that I didn't turn into a pool, and I've also slept without a front door for months at a time. I also one time bought a storage unit and asked my wife and children to live in it. So I maybe not death penalty.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100%. I feel that. Yeah, I met with these guys. All right, they're fucking. I'll tell you, I wish I could fucking dress them down like I did a fucking nuclear family in our fucking go-kart when we were 17. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm just thinking back to the visual right now, and it's sort of washing over me in a completely new light of us, two children, by the way, 14-ish, 15-ish.
Children. Yeah, 15, 14.
On a go-kart, going 100 miles an hour down the side of an Indiana highway.
Yeah.
With
no helmets.
No helmets, of course. And a family of 4. Just petrified. It was, I must have repressed how intense that memory was. Because it is like thinking back on it now, I feel bad. I'm gonna be honest with you, Johnny. I feel bad. I feel legitimately bad.
We got back and you like kind of dissociated. Like now I know that word. I don't think at the time I understood that what was happening. But I remember like talking to you and like being like, how about those bitches? And I remember you were just kind of like, yeah. You like weren't really there with me.
Yeah. I actually, now that you mention it, I have no recollection of the rest of that summer. My memory of that summer just stops.
June 27th. So there were 2 more months, but we did a lot of shit on that go-kart. We chased after a lot of families. So, I'm sure it was probably the repeated trauma of us again and again, going over 100 miles per hour on a go-kart, chasing down families.
Yeah,
so I could.
Because I do remember the next summer going for a ride on that go-kart.
Yeah.
And you said to me, hold this radar gun. I'm going to drive past you to show you how fast this thing goes. You eventually got that thing up over 200 miles per hour. So that summer, we must have been sort of cranking up the dial.
Oh, yeah, I think every day was a test. Every day was a test. I mean, you don't remember it, but we hopped on the highway one time, straight up. We were straight up on the interstate, like bobbing and weaving. It was insane. We got chased by the cops for a little bit, but then I turned off and lost them in a cornfield.
Cops.
As we do. So,
as we know, growing up summering in Indiana, the cops don't touch the corn, folks. If you want to get away with a crime,
don't touch the corn.
Cops don't touch the corn.
Exactly.
Don't get yourself in a donut field. If you get yourself in a donut field, they'll come in after you.
They'll come right on. They'll be on top of you. They'll be on top of you.
Yeah, they will.
But because they got to reimburse the farmers if they drive through the corn, and they don't want to do that.
Exactly. That's the trick.
Going 160 miles on a go-kart, they'll let that slide. They'll let that slide easy.
Man, Johnny, this was an enlightening experience, man. I always knew you were interesting, but I never knew that you were this kind of like I hate to see our time coming to an end here because I feel like there are probably mountains of other escapades that we could dive into, but maybe we could save that for another time. I'll have to have you back on the show so we can get into some of our other adventures from other summers.
100%. Dude.
And man,
I can tell you all about the time I got baptized again. It was great. Like so much shit has happened, dude. We gotta catch up more. There's
next time I'll bring you back on the show. Life. Yeah, no, listen, there's nothing interesting about my life, and we're about out of time, so I'm going to let you go here in a second, but I do think next time you're on the show, we definitely got to get into the time that you got baptized again.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy story.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. It was so good to see you, dude. I'll tell you, if I'm back, I mean, there's a good chance we'll be fucking Antonio will be calling again about some shit the general does, so I'll be in New York again.
Yeah, if you find yourself in New York, if you find yourself in New York, let me know, and either I'll come to you or you can come to me out here, and we'll make it happen, man. But it was really great catching up with you, Johnny, and good luck with everything in Montauban. I also think it's interesting that your last name has always been Montauban. We never even talked about that, but that's just a detail we'll let sort of hang in the air.
I think it's kind of like the Pope, you know. I think the Pope's last name is Vatican or Vatican City or something like that.
It is. So, the current Pope is Pope Francis Vatican, #1.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a thing like that.
Okay.
But yeah, man, it was so good to see you. I love you so much, Big B.
I love you too.
I can't wait to catch up with you again sometime soon, dude.
Yeah, Johnny, I will definitely have you back on the show sometime in the future, man. Until then, just have a good time. Be as kind as you can to the villagers. All right.
I'll do what I can, but I'll tell you right now, it's not much.
All right, man. Well, it's great talking to you, man, and I'll catch you again on the flip side, my man. All right, man. Take it easy. Oh, bye. Folks, holy shit. Did not see that one coming. If the family of 4 who we terrorized back when I was a kid is somehow watching, I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize. I did not want to be a party to that thing when it was happening. But I was, and this is a sincere apology. So if you're here, which you're probably not, for all I know, you might be dead. Who knows? I'm sorry. But folks, that was Gianni Montauban, my good friend from growing up, who happens to be the leader of the free, what was it called? The free country of Montauban? I don't know. But folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of How You Been. A lot of action on the gifted sub front tonight. Let's see what we got here. We had a bunch of gifted subs. We had, let's see. We had Step On Me gifted a sub. Had some bits from Patterson Music and Brissy Joe. Resubs from Big Squiggles and Nikki Cole. Ernest Citizen back with the resub. Nathan 69 resubbed as well. Bob as well. Bob also gifted some subs. 5 subs to be exact. Patterson Music with a gifted sub to Private Street Comedy. Hey, folks, if you ain't watching Private Street's show, you should. Twitch.tv/Private Street. They do a show every Monday, Thursday night. It's just, it's like you're sitting in the living room with your buddies having a good time. It's a real fun show. You should check it out for sure. And they gifted a bunch of subs in here too. Holy shit. Thank you so much for those 5 subs gifted from the Private Street folks. They're great. Go over to twitch.tv/Private Street and give them a follow and tune into their show on Thursday night. T-Mac gifted some subs as well. Thank you for that. We got a couple follows as well from France Shy, Cowboy Curtis LeMay, Jacob Ward Live, and Sunaru423. We also got some donations, folks. And as you know, any donation you got's going to go to, my guess, maybe tonight the donations won't go straight to the guests. I think these donations, I'm going to do a little research and find out the names and addresses of the people that I had a direct hand in affecting when we were doing stuff, when me and Gianni were doing stuff when we were kids. And we'll send this money straight to those people as a sort of, I'm sorry for causing so much trouble when we was kids. So if you want to donate, you can type !donate into the chat. A link will come up. You can click on it. You can donate. Even $1 is helpful. $100 is helpful, but $1 is also helpful. That money will go straight to the guest, but it'll go to, the people who we've hurt. But folks, if you can't donate, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you're back here next Tuesday for another episode. A view is as good as $1, is what I say all the time. Everybody who's here's heard it before. It's a common phrase. A view is as good as $1. But folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to my guest, Gianni Montauban, as well. Tune back in next Tuesday for another episode. It's going to be a blast as always. Keep an eye on Twitter for the announcement of who's going to be on. My producer, John, will do that. You can follow him at It's John Mackey on Twitter. But folks, thank you so much, as always, for being here. Really brightens my freaking day when I'm able to do this show and there's people here watching. So I appreciate everybody who shows up every week for the good time. I have a blast as well. But folks, thank you so much. Until next time, Brett. Out.